Shut up and sit down.
Yo, people, welcome back to another hardware review, and we are back with Lost Vape. This time we're looking at the Lite pod kit. Yes, from Lost Vape, brand new out. 2mm pod, 1000 mAh built-in battery. Comes with the brand new Lite coils. So what do we reckon to it? Well, we normally put like a little bit of a video together, but I'm not going to do that. We're going to go down to the table, have a little look around it, and then we'll come back up and I'll give you all my thoughts. So just like normal, this is the box. That's everything you do get in the box. And that was the box. So the Lite pod kit from Lost Vape Quest. It is made out of aluminium. Now you've got like sort of a straight bit here and then it sort of curves round. It does fit lovely in your hand. We've got to fit it in. It is ergonomical. You've got the Lite written on that side and you've got the logo. You've also got a bit of logoing on the actual pod itself. Now it has got a 1000 mAh built-in battery. Roughly takes about half an hour to charge. If you have a look at the bottom, it does tell you that you've got your kite marks, don't vape in the bin, designed by Lost Vape. And it is Type-C charging, 5 volts. And like I said, it roughly takes around about 30 minutes to charge. It has got its own airflow. You don't see that very often with a pod system. Restricted direct to lung and mouth to lung. And the way you actually dial that in is by that little notch there. You just move it across. And you can really dial this in. And the way this works, just open the pod up. We've seen this sort of design like with the Voopoo. So when you put your coil in, which I'll show you in a second, the airflow's coming through there, up through there, and onto your coil there. And I'll show you how that works in a second. Let's have a little look at the pod itself. It is a 2mm pod. The mouthpiece is nice and comfortable. I've had no problem with that at all. You've got your filling port. It is on the side. I'm not too keen on side fill, but this is quite a nice big filling port. I've had no problems with airlocks or anything like that. I have had a little bit of problems seeing my juice in there. You sort of have to hold it up to the light, and then when you're filling it, you fill it up obviously from there, and then sort of chase your juice round and then put it in. Now the two coils you get in the box with it, you get a 1.4 ohm mesh coil. That is best between 8 and 10 watts. Now this is more for your mouth to lung. As you can see, quite a nice tight bore on there. You also get a 0.4 ohm coil. That's best between 20 and 30 watts. That's the maximum wattage on the device itself. So it's best between 20 and 30 watts. And then for a separate purchase, you can get a 0.8 ohm coil. This is the L3. And that's best between 12 and 17 watts. Here we go. Now to fit this pod is fit this coil is very simple. Now before you do it, make sure you prime it up, put some juice around these little holes there and a little bit in the top. And what you do is you'll be able to see if you just move it around like so, it will just push in like that. You'll feel a little click and it'll push in. The other way to look at it is you've got a line across there, that little notch there, and that little notch what's on that side. Make sure they're just all matching, and you'll be able to see where the airflow is. So you can see how that fits in underneath there and how the airflow comes through. And then that just sits in, once I've done it, that just sits in like so. I've got another pod that I've actually been using. So, to turn it on, it is 5 clicks on, 5 clicks off. You've got your little LED indicator. There you go, and it'll flash. Now, not only is that LED indicator used for whether you turn it on and also for your battery indication. Now, your battery indication, if it's green, it's fully charged, blue, you're halfway, and red, you are ready to charge. It also tells you which coil you've got in your pod. Now, if it flashes up red, that means you've got the 0.4. If it flashes up blue, then you've got the 0.8. And if it flashes up green, it is the 1.4. And then, as easy to see, let's put that so you can see it. Once you put the pod in, You see it's glowed up red, and that means it is the 0.4. Now this is button activated and also drawer activated. But if you click it 3 times, it'll flash up white, and what that does is it turns the button off. You can still use the drawer activation, but you can't use the button. I think that's an absolute corking idea. I think it's the same as what Geek Vape did with the K1. And then to go back to using your button, 3 clicks, and it turns white, and now you can use the button. I think that's absolutely fantastic. So that was a look round the UB Lite pod kit from Lost Vape. What do we reckon? Let's go top to bottom like we normally do. We'll start off with the pod itself. It is a 2mm pod. It is that darkened plastic, so it's a little bit hard to see the level of your e-liquid. Now, if you do tip it upside down, you can see it a lot better, especially if you hold it up in the light. It is a side fill. Now, I've had no problems filling it up. It's got quite a nice big hole. You know I'm always banging on about the hole in the pods. To get that airlock, I've had no problems whichever size bottles that I've been using. Like I said, it is a side fill. I'm not overly keen when they put it on the crease of the actual pod itself. So if you don't put it in properly, it catches on the side, and then we're going to get juice everywhere. I would have liked to maybe seen them like maybe a filling port at the front. You know, sort of where they've got that the branding on it, so you could have filled it from there. The coils you get with it, you get a 1.4 ohm mesh coil. That's best between 8 and 10 watts. That's for your mouth to lung. You then get a 0.4 ohm coil. That's best between 20 and 30 watts. That's more for your direct to lung. Now, for a separate purchase, you can also get a 0.8 ohm coil. That's best between 12 and 17 watts, but that's a separate purchase. But they did put it in with the kit for reviewing, so I've already used it, and I'll tell you about that in a second. Now, this comes with airflow, which is really good. I think the last time we saw airflow on a pod was the X-Ross from Vaporesso, and this really does work. It's a little bit dodgy on one of the coils, which we'll get into in a second. Now, what about the flavour? What about the cloud? We'll talk about the 0.4 ohm coil first. This is more for your direct to lung, and you can tell that they've done this little thing with the LED light like I showed you, and it goes red. So you know you've got the 0.4 ohm coil on there. Excuse me. So this is auto draw or button press. So we're going to have the airflow wide open like that, and like I said, this is a 0.4 ohm coil. Let's give it a vape and see what we think. Now, to me, that is not a restricted direct to lung. That's just a direct to lung. Plenty of clouds and really good flavour. That was with a button press. We'll do it with the auto draw. No problems at all. And I've not found with this coil, when it's dropping down on the battery, I haven't seen, because sometimes you get it on pod systems, when it's dropping down on the battery, the auto draw seems to sort of cut off. I've had no problems with that at all. Let's dial this in halfway, and this is where I normally have it. We'll do it button pressing again. That's where you're getting a restricted direct to lung. I really do like it at that setting. Really nice flavour from it and really decent clouds. Let's shut this completely off like that. Again, we'll use the button press. That's like a mouth to lung. You can see the cheeks going in. You have to open that up a little tudgy bit, then it being completely shut off. That's a really tight, restricted direct to lung. Like I said, I like it more like halfway. Halfway, and it's perfect for me how I vape. Restricted direct to lung. Now, if we use the 1.4 ohm coil, just put that in. And again, you'll see it changes colour. It should be green if it's the 1.4. There you go, and it goes green. Let's open the airflow wide open. Now, remember, this is for your mouth to lung. Now, they're saying this is a restricted direct to lung. We'll do it button press first. That's really, really airy. There's no way in the world that that's a restricted direct to lung. Now, if you do it with the actual auto draw, it seems to sometimes cut off. You don't get anything. Do you see that? And I'm getting a little bit of juice in my mouth as well. Now, you don't get this with the 0.4. You don't get it with the 0.8. Now, I thought it was just me. Maybe it was the first coil that I put in. So I've tried this twice on 2 separate coils of the 1.4. So that's with the airflow wide open. So I'm getting a little bit of juice in my mouth. And that's the auto draw. Yuck. It's no good with Nick salts getting it in your mouth. We'll do it with a button draw. Again. Now, there's nothing wrong with the battery in it. Nothing wrong with the battery at all. I was just double checking there that the battery was okay. Nothing wrong with the battery. Yeah. But if you close it off to say halfway, or just past halfway, still getting that little bit of juice in my mouth. That's more of a restricted direct to lung. Then if you close it completely off, that's where you're getting your mouth to lung. And once you've closed it off with that coil, that 1.4 ohm coil, you are getting that mouth to lung. I'm not overly keen on that 1.4 ohm coil. It just doesn't work for me. The 0.4 ohm coil is really, really, really good. Again, halfway. No juice in my mouth, no nothing. It just works. And like I said, when you're shutting it off, you're even getting more of a really, really restricted direct to lung. But with that 1.4 ohm coil, it seems to be getting juice. I've got it in my mouth now, but you seem to be getting juice in your mouth and it just doesn't seem to work right. But on the 0.8, again, that's absolutely corking. Really do like the 0.8. No problem with that. You can dial that in. But it's just this 1.4 ohm coil. And I don't understand why. Because if you actually look at the actual airflow, I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Look how tiny that airflow is. It shouldn't be that wide open. Again, we'll just do that just to show you. It's fine when you button press it. It's just that auto draw and you get juice in your mouth. It is a 1000 mAh battery in there. Now, with it having a 0.4 ohm coil, I would have liked to have seen it being maybe a 1500 mAh battery in there. You're roughly getting about 8 hours. Again, it all depends how you vape. You're roughly getting about 8 hours out of it. It is Type-C charging. 5 amp fast charge. Roughly takes about 30 minutes. It's made out of alloy. It is very, very, very light. I do like the design of it. Fits in your hand really nice. Now, like I did tell you, it is button press and auto draw. If you press it 3 times, it goes white. And that cuts off the button press. That means you can just auto draw it. And again, if you're putting that in your pocket, it's perfect for when you're going out, so you're not auto firing. And again, if you press 3 times, it goes white, and then you can press it with the button. All in all, apart from that 1.4 ohm coil, I really do like it. Really good flavour on the 0.4. Really nice restricted direct to lung. As pod systems go, it looks really nice, and like I said, it is light. Well, this has been another review by Little Bro. If you've liked the review, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. The subscribe button's in the corner. Give it a little press to get me to that new magic number. Big shout out to Lost Vape for sending this out for a review. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Go and hit me up, people. One last thing to say, keep them juices flowing. Don't forget to check out my latest video. Also, don't forget to check out 3 Men and a Vape Show live at 8 PM every Wednesday. And also, if you've enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe, ring that notification bell, and we'll catch you later.